窓から覗き込んだ世界を駆け抜ける勇者よ何が好きか嫌いか互いのそういうね
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Anime Degens podcast. Got Nom with me today. We're diving into something that is near and dear to our hearts, so we're very excited about that. How you doing, Nom?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. How about you?
Doing well.
Nice. How are you surviving in the snow?
Well, hasn't come yet, but it's coming. We got like 6 inches over the weekend, so that was nice. But we're getting a lot of snow this week.
Awesome. Well, I wish you well in that. Luckily, I don't think that we're getting much more, but at the same time, not a fan of winter. So
I snowboard, so that's the only reason I like the winter.
fair. I wish I was in a tropical setting, hence my background today.
Totally fair. Totally fair. I mean, I do like me a little tropical setting too, not gonna lie. But yeah, it is gonna be cold coming up. Gonna be snowy. And hopefully I can get out on the stick and ride the fresh powder at some point. That's what I want to do.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, before we get into our topic today, best way to support us, give us a good rating. If you haven't rated the podcast on your go-to platform yet, give us a good rating. Tell your homies. And if you've already rated us on your go-to podcast, go to YouTube and give us a like there. Or subscribe, whatever you do on YouTube.
Both?
Yes, both.
Subscribe to the channel, but then also like the video.
Yeah, like this video, which we have no idea when it will be up.
Show Tyler that there's a huge following for this episode, this show that we're talking about.
Yes, this should be the most liked YouTube video we have, hands down, 10 times over.
Prove to Tyler that he's missing out.
Yeah, I mean, we picked this topic because Tyler is not here, so we're gonna drift into a little discussion about one of our favorite animes, Initial D. If you don't know what Initial D is, if you live under a rock, it's a street racing anime and manga set in the 1990s, and it centers on a high schooler named Takumi Fujiwara. He is a really, really chill dude, and he delivers tofu for his dad. And that has somehow led to him being an elite downhill racer because he got bored of driving the speed limit and decided to haul ass down a mountain pass every morning. With that, the series follows Takumi as he gets pulled into like this underground racing scene. It's all mountain pass driving, or tugs, as we like to call them, in the scene, because me and Nam are super into downhill mountain racing. That's what we do in our spare time. But, we've got like skilled drivers battling each other, rival teams, like that classic street racer vibe. And it's just an awesome story. It's created by Suichi Shigeno, and it does a really good job of like blending realistic car physics with character-driven rivalry and growth. And we're gonna get into the best part of it. I'm not gonna talk about it now because we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about it later. But if you like car racing, if you grew up playing Need for Speed like I did, or watching like the old school Fast and Furious movies before they decided to save the world every time, definitely recommend you check this out. Anything to add now?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it on the head. Again, same thing. Won't talk about the one thing because it's a super big topic that is going to be covered later on here.
We are going to talk some beat. To kind of give you guys an understanding, we always talk about mal ratings and all that kind of stuff. So I only pulled the information for the first stage, which is the first season. And the show's got a rating of 8.36 on Mal. So that's pretty damn good. It was done by Studio Gallop and Comet, and it premiered way back when in the spring of 1998. I was 5 years old. I did not watch this when I was 5.
I was a little older. I did not watch it when I was that age either.
Nam won't tell us how old he is.
It's a mystery.
But this show did run for a really long time. The final stage actually released in 2014. So ran for a pretty long time. But to kind of start, this show had like a massive media impact, which for kind of a show of this style, I was kind of surprised by. The manga ran for 48 volumes, and it was serialized from 1995 to 2013. I haven't checked out the manga because still frames of cars seems weird to me. Have you read it at all, Nam?
I have not. Kind of the same thing. I imagine that the story is probably good. I just don't see how it could be as good through manga panels.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just cars drifting. And then like close ups of faces with thoughts and talking. And then all the stuff that goes on in the middle too. But like I haven't read it yet, but I don't know. I feel like people did a lot, or else it wouldn't have gotten like this massive impact there. The anime ran for 81 episodes and had one movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. The third season, third stage is really just a movie. There's also been two OVAs. There's one. Nam, have you watched the OVAs?
Uh, I think I have.
The one that
Yes, I have.
focuses on Mako and Sayuki.
Yes.
Nudity, ladies and gentlemen, really unexpected. These started playing when I was watching the show and just threw it in there. And I was like, whoa, this is not meant for TV. Just showed one of the characters taking a shower. I was like, what the fuck? We also
Yeah.
got a,
Again, though, it was the thing of the times, right? Like that's how a lot of the shows were animated and stuff. Look at the original Dragon Ball and what they were showing in that. I mean, it was the social
I
norm at the
mean,
time.
that was perverted. This was just like full on like chick in the shower.
Yeah.
Nice. We also got a live action movie in 2005. We got a lot of different video games and arcade games made off of this. You may have played some of those classic arcade games in the past with the wheel, all that good stuff. And then we've had one spinoff slash sequel, and that is another show very near and dear to Nom and mine's heart, MF Ghost. You hear me and Nom talk about this every freaking week,
Constantly mentioning it. Constantly.
but it's absolute gas. To kind of start, I kind of wanted to start with the animation. What do you think about that?
Um it was pretty rough at first, honestly, because when I watched it, there was obviously like I'd say mid 2000s, maybe even like closer to 2010s, and with the quality of what was out there, it was kind of hard to watch some of that stuff, but the car animation itself is really what drew me in, just because of how much detail and focus that they really put into these machines. Like
Yeah,
they faithfully recreated a lot of the looks and characteristics of them.
yeah, and it was super interesting with the cars too, because this was like one of the first shows that really used CGI. So, like in the first and second stage, like the cars are CGI, the backgrounds are hand drawn, the characters are hand drawn, but like they couldn't like draw realistic racing lines, wheel motion, and like all the like we'll say camera angles that you would expect
No.
without that. So like while it looks hilarious when you first watch it, it really was necessary. And I thought it was pretty cool that they kind of pushed the limits of what was actually being animated back in, 1998 with
No,
CGI.
honestly groundbreaking for what it is. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It truly does still, even now, stand the test of time. Going back and watching it again, like there's some of the hand drawn stuff, yeah, it's a little cheesy to watch now by today's standards, but it's still a masterclass anime that's perfectly watchable.
Yeah. And like with like that CGI side of it, like really for me, like the actual attention paid to making the races look realistic and prioritizing that over just like clean drawn cars, I thought was a good decision. It really helps with like the adrenaline and like the action packed focus of the show.
which is absolutely necessary for what they were trying to tell too.
But yeah, it's definitely like when you tell someone to watch Initial D, the first text or message I usually get is like, "What the fuck is with these cars?" And I'm like, dude,
Just wait.
it's part of the aura of Initial D, dude. Let it ride.
Yeah, no, you gotta go with it. You gotta vibe with it. Once you get to like the first couple of races with Takumi, that's it. You're hooked.
Oh
It
yeah,
doesn't matter what it looks like anymore. You're in it for the ride.
quite literally. Quite literally in it for the ride. We did see, that like kind of rough hybrid approach got a lot better once we got to some of the later seasons, like the movie that they released for the third stage. The quality just drastically increased. I'm not sure what the time difference is there, but I think that the third stage came out in like the early mid 2000s, and you could
Yeah,
definitely see like a vast improvement. The CGI got a lot better, and it kind of just like they blended the cars into the backgrounds better.
they didn't
And it,
stand out as much anymore, which
yeah,
was really nice to see. And again, just like you said too, with like the better lighting and stuff like that, they really advanced their tech big time when it came time for the movie. And it even approached it too with just a lot more of a cinematic feel as well, all in all.
yeah, definitely. Especially when it came to the racing, like the sense of speed actually going down these mountain passes seemed way more realistic than it did when the cars would like slowly drift around corners. So it definitely brought a lot more of that pace you would imagine to a show like this. And then as they,
It yeah, it made it more grounded, more realistic feeling.
yeah, definitely. And then as they progress through the last, or I guess 2.5 seasons, we'll say, the final stage is only 4 episodes. It just continued to improve. And the character animation changed up a little bit too. One thing I think is really interesting when you watch this, one of the main characters, Ryosuke, his hair changes colors like 7 times because the studio changed. And it's like, it's fucking brown now. And it's like, oh, we're going back to black. It's like, okay, Ryosuke's just got hair dye on deck.
He gives off that punk vibe. It kind of fit with him, you know.
Oh yeah, Doctor Ryosuke. But one thing too is like I thought it was interesting because like the show kind of shifted tone too. Like when it started, it was just like Takumi and his boys were the Akina speed stars, and you kind of shift into like that Project D vibe where it's Ryosuke, Keisuke, and Takumi like literally going and like racing on other people's turfs all throughout like Japan, like setting time trial records, things like that. And the like change in animation kind of also mirrored like the professional tone that they kind of took later in the show.
Indeed. I mean, just the overall growth of the group and the growth of like the studio were almost parallel during the development of this. I know it changed hands a couple times, but at the same time, it felt like whoever it was that was working on it was also kind of at like that same stage of growth that the show was going through at that time. And for the final, 4 episodes especially, they really came at it very, very well. And kudos to the studio that actually did finish it. Um, by the time that it ended, it looked so different than when it first started. So different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, and it was kind of cool too because I felt like the animation never like kind of what we said over and over again. It always felt grounded, but it never took away from like the point of the show, which is street racing. Like it never was like, oh yeah, this car is gonna do crazy things that cars physically can't do. And a big part of that was that Kichi Tsuchiya. who is like the Drift King. Like he is like one of the greatest racers in Japanese history, at least like in the circuit racing is like scene. He was like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like an advisor for the show to make sure that all the driving stayed grounded. Like they mirrored a lot of his skill set with Takumi. I mean, the dude drove an AE86. So it's really cool to see that they actually did bring in like an industry expert to make sure the show felt as realistic as possible. Like when they're talking about things like how tire heat, and things like that can affect your car. It's like all real car physics. It's not just like, oh yeah, we're making shit up because this is anime, you know?
Yeah, and that was one of the real defining things that that really stuck out with me too. Is just again how realistic everything was and how they were able to explain it and make it make sense. And this also makes a lot more sense as well, being that they had a professional race car driver literally helping them.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was
If you
cool.
got
I didn't actually know about that part.
Yeah, if you ever want to like go watch a YouTube video on him, he is a cool ass dude. He was so good at circuit racing that he got bored and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna start drifting." Because he'd be so far in the lead. He's like, "I just want to do cool shit and make my fans love me." And he was like a massive icon in the racing scene in Japan. But yeah, I did go look at it. So that last season was done by Studio Synergy SP, and
Okay.
those last 4 episodes were intense. Something to talk about too, not related to the animation, but just like a heads up if you do decide to watch this. The last 2 seasons are not dubbed. So if you're watching it dubbed, you will have to switch to subbed eventually.
Trust us though, it's worth it. Just
100%.
if you've already gotten through the first 3 seasons, just go all the way. Finish
Oh
off the
yeah.
last two. It's worth it.
And if you're an anime fan, or if you're a fan of this podcast, you probably watch One Piece. So Frankie is the voice of one of the characters. So you get that OG
Dude,
Frankie vibes.
so many of the characters too from like the English dubs. If you
Oh
guys
yeah.
watch the English version of One Piece, you'll hear so many recognizable voices too. Um, Watching the first 3 seasons, yeah, I mean, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's that classic Funimation team who dubbed it. So like you'll be sitting there and you're watching a race, you're like, that's fucking Piccolo.
Yup.
Awesome. But yeah, definitely the animation's really cool to check out. But now I want to get to the best part. The music. Nom, let's get a little funky with some Eurobeat. What do you think?
I I had no idea going into this, right? I was just bored. I think it was Hulu at the time. It was either Hulu or Netflix. This was again way back in the early days. And I just popped it on. And next thing you know, they're going around a corner and you just hear some Euro beats blaring in the background. You don't even understand what's going on. You're just like, let's go. You get
Dude.
so hyped. You feel it, right? Like the use of the Euro beats during all of the racing between like all the fast the fast movement and stuff like that and everything like that. It works so well with just how Euro beats play out.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you've got like fast BPM, driving bass lines, like super repetitive hooks. Like when you're listening to these songs, like they get stuck in your head so fast. Like I'll be sitting in my car and I'll just be going like gas, gas, gas. I'm gonna da-da-da-da," like all the time. Like I literally put on the initial D playlist when I want to drive fast.
Don't recommend doing so, by the way, people.
Just slightly above the speed limit, allegedly.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
allegedly.
but like, what's so cool about the Eurobeat and the songs they select is like it feels like it really does like a lot of the storytelling when you're watching these races. Like it just adds so much to the action and the adrenaline packed rush you get from watching this show. And like, I can't think of many shows that use music in the same way to amplify moments as much as Initial D does.
No, I mean, I said it with for those of you who watched our Kaguya-sama video way back in Valentine's 2025. I said that the narrator was a character of the show because of just how influential it was. The music is a character of Initial D just because of, again, how influential and how important it is to the races. You go and watch the races without the music, and it falls so flat.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
cool animation falls flat.
100%. It just brings so much more to the vibe. And like the way they use it's so good too, right? Like they don't reuse songs very often. So like the songs get linked to like iconic moments in races. And they do such
Yes.
a good job of linking where the song is to that like specific scene. So like when they're hitting the brakes, you'll hear like the song will change. When they're going around a corner, the song will change. Like it's just awesome. It's so fucking good, dude.
And it really sets the tone of everything too. Again, like just their selective use of it and how well placed all of it is. It's almost kind of like foreboding in a sense with how it plays out.
Definitely. Definitely. And like I don't know, like I feel like Initial D and like Eurobeat has kind of like just reshaped car culture as a whole. Like I'll still see reels where it's like people just like driving cars, like like they've tuned it up, they've got like lowered it, decals, you name it, and they're using Eurobeat in their reels. And this is God, I mean, these songs were from the show, 20 years earlier. So like it's just stood the test of time and it's just become like one of those like massive cultural influences, which is super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And so many fucking bangers.
This is
We're gonna
so
we're gonna
many.
get into our favorites later. We got all our favorites at the end. Kind of going from talking about like the animation and the music, I do think it'd be interesting to talk about like kind of like the themes behind the show, because this show, while we've talked primarily about just like the racing, there's a lot of character growth. There's like a lot of deeper themes that really do come through and shine with this show. And when it comes to racing, like the big theme you'll see is skill versus power. Like Takumi drives an underpowered Toyota Corolla. An AE86 is literally just a Toyota Corolla. And because he's such a skilled driver, he's able to beat like these monstrous cars with like 2.5 times the horsepower down the mountain because he's just such a precision driver. And it's always an interesting thing because it's all you see that a lot, right? Like the best racers today in any sort of racing, they all have the same cars, but they shine because they just have more skill.
Better skills. Yeah,
Yeah,
better skills. And no, that was one of the bigger things that I always took away from it, and something that I'll really highlight too a little bit later on. Um, but just again, the skill versus power was one of the biggest things that was the biggest takeaway, and something that is frequently highlighted, not just even in the cars themselves, but like some of the challenges that uh Takumi has to face as well. You know, whether it's a special condition to a race or whether it's a certain major event that happens that, makes him change his mind, stuff like that. And as well too, just to be able to see, again, that underdog really come out and triumph over everyone. It's a real good feeling too. It makes you walk away feeling really good, and like you can actually tackle something yourself. And it's just, again, it's all about how skilled you are. It's not about being the strongest or the best.
definitely.
um One that I really also appreciated too was like the growth and discovery the self discovery for Takumi. He started off literally as just a tofu delivery boy, right? And he had absolutely no interest in driving or racing or any of that stuff. But as the series goes on and as different things happen, and as his life is evolving as a high schooler as well, he's starting to become more confident as a racer. He's starting to understand what his limits are and stuff like that, and just the evolution of his instincts and his patience and his understanding of everything as well, was a real big highlight to me in the series as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like he really starts to find that competitive spirit. And like once you see Takumi have that flip switch, right? Like his passion and obsession over becoming faster just really like takes him to the next level. Like you see him instead of just being like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this whatever." It's like I want to be the best. He's just driven by like that pride and like the adrenaline that comes with winning and pushing yourself to your limits. Super fun to see because it really just it does come through and it shines. Like it's just such an action packed show. And like when Takumi flips that switch, it just takes it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean a lot of the themes kind of come together because it's the things you can imagine like they kind of feed off each other. Like that growth leads to like discipline and mastery, like really coming to understand how to improve your skills, find that right line, take the right turn, the right drift at the right time. But like I think my favorite theme that you always see throughout this show is just like that underdog mentality, right? Like Takumi is a very unassuming character. He's like a 16-year-old and
He
he's like
literally has NPC energy.
100% like he's just super nonchalant. That is hilarious because like his character is so unassuming. But then like the AE86 becomes such a fucking legend. But he kind of stays the same with how he acts a lot, besides becoming more competitive. Like he doesn't really change up his personality a lot. He doesn't get like super cocky. It's always just about hitting that next level for him. And I really like that about his character.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. And then yeah, too, the other thing too is just like the mentorship and legacy that they're really building up. We see it a lot, especially with Ryusuke and Keisuke. Um, how the two of them really try and guide Takumi and stuff like that, and then also try to push him as well to his limits. Um, but also ensuring that like he understands more about racing too, not just hey, you can go faster if you do this. Like this is why you can do these things, and this is how you can improve yourself type stuff. Um, and just also like imparting that knowledge, even with the foundation of Project D.
Definitely. Yeah. And the thing I like about Ryosuke too is he doesn't like point out, like, he doesn't tell them, like, both Keisuke and Takumi, like, this is what you should work on. He's kind of more approaches it from like that, like, you need to
He
figure things
guides
out
them.
on yourself. He guides
Yeah,
them
he
towards the right
he
answer.
guides them to figuring it out themselves too, and he's really good at doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Ryosuke is my favorite character in the show. Like, I love the way he approaches, like, driving. Like, Ryosuke's a fucking nerd. He's like running computer simulations on like a Windows 95 PC. It's the funniest thing. And like he really is just chasing like that ultimate driver theory of what makes the best street racer.
Yep.
And that's really what leads into MF Ghost. Like MF Ghost is just like a continuation of Project D, but taking it from the back roads and putting it at the forefront of entertainment and creating like a circuit. And I think the coolest thing is like we always talk about like that underdog mentality and the limitations and things like that. But The only rule about the cars in MF Ghost is that you have to have a specific weight to tire ratio. It's like tire coefficient of friction ratio. So he figured out a way to take a GT86, the spiritual successor to the AE86, awesome car, but make it able to compete with a fucking Ferrari and Lamborghini, which
Yep.
should not be possible, you know?
Not in a million years. That being said, though, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We're going to ramble on about MF Ghost for probably 20 minutes later, so don't worry about that.
Speaking about cars, though, Dan,
Speaking about cars,
we got to talk about the most famous one.
we do. And that is obviously the Panda Trueno. That is the Toyota AE86, or as we like to call it here in America, a 1985 Toyota Corolla hatchback.
Yep.
One thing that's super cool about this car specifically is like this version with the hatchback was actually built for the rally market. So it wasn't like any racing done with an AE86 of this style was mostly built for the rally market. So they'd send it to Europe to do rally racing. And it's really interesting because when you think rally car, you think four-wheel drive. And they weren't equipping these Toyotas with four-wheel drive to throw them in the fucking woods, which is terrifying.
Yeah. But at the same time, they were onto something here. Maybe not, throwing them into the woods, but Toyota really was cooking something here with this model.
I mean, yeah. Like it's kind of the same thing you see even now. Like when you're young and you want to get into car culture, you don't go buy a nice car. You go buy a beater. You go buy a Miata. You go buy a, like something you can afford. And then you take that and you throw cheap modifications on it to get it to the point where it feels like you're driving a race car. But the thing that like this show did to drastically increase the cost of a Toyota Corolla was absolutely criminal. Like you go look for like that era, like AE86 now, they're like 30, 40 grand. Because this show took such a unassuming grocery getter and turned it into a collector's item. Like it's insane to see like the impact that it had on car culture. You show a picture of a AE86 decked out like a panda to anyone who's a car enthusiast, they know exactly what it is.
They're getting hype. And like the craziest part too is the car is perfectly capable of doing everything that they showed.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the Drift King himself drives that car.
Yeah, I mean, so did Shigeno. He drove an AE86. That was his car. And he was
Yeah,
just a dude obsessed with car culture.
So I mean, again, like it's not that the car is being fabricated to some extreme and you're getting a fucking glorified box on wheels, but like
It's pretty much a box on wheels. It had no
yeah, but
technology in it. It had nothing. No ABS.
They
no
showed that
nothing,
it
dude.
can actually do this.
Yeah. It just takes a really damn good driver.
Yeah.
But outside of, because we can't pick that as our favorite car because we obviously both would have picked the main character's car. What was your favorite car in Initial D?
Well, I mean, obviously the AE86. No, outside of that, I would have to say it's the Mazda RX-7 FD 3S.
We're taking the FD, not the FC?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you guys do know that's Case car? That's kind of like the other main character, really?
Yes.
He's kind of like a rival turned partner?
Yeah. No, rival turned partner. Because, like, while Ryosuke was always, like, antagonistic in a helpful way, he was never really, like, the guy who sought revenge like that. That was always Keisuke. But no, the RX-7 is a very iconic and slick car, right? It's an icon of the JDM scene. And throughout the show, they do a really great job of showcasing that with all the constant upgrades that are being done to the vehicle all throughout. Um, as well as just also showing how powerful it is too. The RX-7s came with the rotary engine, which I believe was proprietary to Mazda, or at least they
Yep.
were the only ones that used it.
Yeah, they're the only
Um,
ones who used them. Those things are like ticking time bombs if you don't occasionally redline them, right? So the
yes,
RX-7 with the rotary engine, they have like a gasket on the end of the cylinders as it spins, and if you don't redline it and get oil to those gaskets, your car explodes.
yep,
So it's encouraged in a Mazda to redline it occasionally, which is one of the greatest things you could ever have.
yes, and not to mention too, just the overall capabilities of what Mazdas can do. It definitely makes it a standout car in the series,
Oh yeah.
especially with how often we see it.
My dad's been he's kind of eyeing up that like retirement sports car. And I keep just sending him like these sick ass like 1995, 1994 RX-7s. And dude, these things sell for an insane amount of money. Like,
Oh yeah,
dude, it's like I just looked the one up that I keep sending him. It's $56,000.
hell yeah.
It's also
No, that's
built
sick though.
it's built to the fucking gills. Like this thing is a monster.
Oh yeah, probably like what 40,000 miles or something.
I don't know mileage, but I can tell you that it has like 600 horsepower.
Hell yeah.
Big turbo. I think, like the cool thing you see with a lot of these cars too throughout the show, especially with like following Project D, like their cars just slowly get tuned and they get a little bit faster all the time. We're going to talk about the kind of evolution of the A86 later because I don't want to spoil Nom's thunder here, right?
I
But
appreciate that.
nah, anytime, buddy. But yeah, I think my favorite car outside of the AE86 in this is just 1,000% uh the GTR R32. I've loved that car before I watched this show, like in I think it's Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
He's got that
Well,
gray.
so that's the R34, but at the same time, still a GTR.
Yeah, close enough. I wasn't sure if that was an R34, R32, whatever, but I've just always loved the GTR. Like my dream car is a GTR. If you see me win the lottery, it's gonna be the first thing I buy is a GTR
Same.
and or a Porsche GT3 RS. But
Why not
details
buy
there.
both if you win the lottery?
I would probably buy both. I'd probably buy a few cars. But like the reason I love this car, especially in this anime, is like this is like the first car that really feels like it has an aura to it, you know? Like
Yeah.
every time you see the R32 roll in, it has its own theme song. And like that theme song is called Back on the Rocks. It's by Mega Energy Man. Imagine that name. But it starts with like the Dracula-esque theme song before just going into like blaring Eurobeat. And this car had so much aura. And like this was the one that they're like, it was I think Takami's second race because this was before the gum tape death match, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I think this was like his second like legit street race. It was against the Night Kids. Why am I spacing on the character's name? Oh, Nakazato. There we go. And dude, this car just had fucking aura to it. And the one that Nakazato drives, it's just blacked out. And I am such a sucker for a blacked out sports car. This car just fucks. That's the only way to put it, dude.
No, I'll give you that one. The car definitely went hard.
So we talked about most iconic cars or our favorite cars. But now we're going to talk about the most iconic races. And, Nom's favorite cars are racing and mine. The race that I think is like the most iconic, it's the one that hooks you into Initial D, is definitely Takumi versus Keisuke. It's the first race in the show. But this is like the birth of a legend right here. This is when we first see Takumi in his Panda Chueno hit the downhill on Akina actually in a race. And it's kind of that Takumi effect we talk about, with the themes, with skill beating power on the downhill. Keisuke's car was way more souped up than what Bunta ever did to the 86. Bunta is Takumi's father. And I like this for a few reasons. We get to see the gutter run, which is literally Takumi putting his tire in a fucking gutter to maintain G's around a corner and go faster. And that's actually how he passes Keisuke to win the race. But it's just like such an iconic race for this series. This is where this is the one that hooks you in, like this is where you become like a full on fan of this show. And I also really like the after effects of this race, led to Keisuke having such great character development through the show because it was such an impactful thing for him. He was like a hot shot street racer. And then some 16-year-old in a beat up tofu delivery car shows up and beats him down the mountain.
Yeah, no, that's got to be super embarrassing.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially some no name at that point, too.
Mm-hmm. Like he didn't even really care about the driving either. He was just like, all right, you know what? I'll race you. Let's just do it.
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is didn't Takumi only do this for a tank of gas so he could take that girl on a date?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so
It was something about the girl. That's all I know is
I think it was to
that
take her to the beach. I think that's what it was. And the
yeah, you
funniest
know what? That
thing
makes sense.
is Ikitani, who was like the leader of the Akina Speed Stars. So like each team had their own turf and they had Akina. Basically got in a wreck, broke his shoulder, and was like begging Bunta, Takumi's dad, to come race. And he's like, I'll think about it. And then Bunta's like, hey, Takumi, there's a race. If you go win it, I'll give you a full tank of gas and you can take the car out on Sunday. And Takumi's just like, damn, I could see a chick in a bikini. All right.
He never steps out of the car, I don't think either.
No, he does. And his friends are like, this is a fucking joke. Like, what are you doing here? Like, all that kind of stuff, remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like to the point where like Ikitane and Itsuki are trying to get him to like leave because they don't want to be embarrassed. They'd rather not race at all than put their dopey friend out there. And then Takumi just goes and dominates.
Yeah. He's sitting there. He's got his like hand on his fucking chin the entire time as he's just casually drifting down this mountain behind him.
It's just so funny because he's just so chill. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm just doing this what I do every morning, right?
Oh man, it was no. It is definitely an iconic race.
100%.
That's for sure. There is another race though in my mind that I feel is a little bit more iconic because it kind of represents that skill versus power topic that we talked about a little bit earlier. It actually kind of combines the two and it leads to another one. But I'm talking about Takumi versus Kyoichi,
Piccolo,
who is driving the Evo. Yes, Piccolo. This was done in stage 2, and basically this is the rise of a genius dealing with an unforeseen problem. And during the race, Takumi is showing incredible growth. Piccolo is at this point a professional racer. He's been around the circuit before. He knows how to drive, right? And he's specifically chosen the Evo because of the four-wheel drive of the car, giving him better grip, thinking that he'll be able to get around the mountain a lot easier and stuff. And he's not even really trying to raise Takumi for the fact of racing. He's like, let me show you a few things, kid. And he's doing this to kind of point out to Ryusuke, like, hey, I'm gunning for you. You're next. Pay attention. And during this race, Takumi blows his engine. At this point, he puts himself into a funk, which carries on throughout the next little bit. Bunta does end up getting the car right. He expected this to happen. He actually puts in a new engine into the car. This is actually a Toyota race engine.
Yeah, TRD, baby.
So it's gonna handle completely different. I mean, like the whole thing was completely outfitted to actually handle this engine, right? The whole car was. So I'm pretty sure it was like a brand new gearbox, transmission, all of that. And
suspension, you name it. Yeah, they redid the whole car.
yeah, so Takumi now, he decides to finally get back in the car. He can't figure it out either, and this kind of leads into the growth thing as well. And it takes him a while, and I think he's told that like just rev a little bit longer, right? And so he finally does, and that's when he starts to finally realize some things. And it's really like the trials that he deals with during and after in his evolution as a racer are really amazing at this point on, but it's truly highlighted by this race here. This is the start of where it all started because Takumi at this point had never been defeated, and his technical only loss happened really because engine blew.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to lose that race regardless, but the engine blown and that really sealed the fate.
Yeah.
But also enabled him to kind of learn from that experience as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I think really interestingly with this race too, with the engine blowing, like Takumi didn't know anything about cars. Like he was kind of just like a naturally talented driver. He did not understand like anything about cars. And he literally there's another AE86 driver. He drives 11. His name's Wataru. And he has like this turboed AE86 11, and it's like it's a coupe or sorry, it's not a hatchback, it's like a coupe. And he goes to him, he's like, "Hey, you know these cars, this motor doesn't feel right. I think my dad put a shitty motor in my car, all this stuff." And he pops the hood, and Watery's like, "Where the fuck did you get this?" Because it's like the only place you would see this engine is on the racing circuit for Team Toyota. And he's like, "What the fuck do you mean this silver top engine is like a piece of shit? Like, what are you talking about?" And it turns out that the engine that they put in is a high rev engine. So instead of capping out at like 9,000 RPMs, you can push this shit to 11K RPMs.
It
And
actually preferred as well being
oh
in like
yeah.
the 9,000 and up range to actually really get that power band to just start snapping.
hmm And it's just that the tachometer he had in the car didn't go that high. So he wasn't pushing the motor to where it should have been put. And Bunta did this on purpose because he wanted him to learn about cars. He wanted him to understand what was really in there and how to push the car to its limits.
And at this point too, when he finally started doing that and he learned, he was so good.
100%. And,
So
and,
good.
and like the funniest thing is Bunta had already bought a new tachometer to put in the car, but he was waiting till Takumi figured it out. So he's like, Iski, can you go, or Ikatani, can you like call around and see if anybody has like a high rev tachometer for this? And he calls the shop that his dad is like boys with. He's like, "Yeah, I have one of those on the shelf. It should be like a multi-month wait thing, but I conveniently have one." And it's just Boonta had one sitting there the whole damn time.
No,
All right,
that was perfect.
we talked the cars, we talked the people. Let's talk some tunes again. So with
Yes.
the music being so iconic in this show, it was really hard to pick a favorite song. I think like when you think Initial D, the song everybody thinks of is Deja Vu. It's a Dave Rogers song. It's just a classic. It's in a lot of memes. You've definitely heard it if you haven't watched this. But like the most iconic race I can think of with this is we see Takumi versus Nakazato again in that Skyline GTR R32. After joining Project D, Takumi goes and races Nakazato on his turf, and they just hit this song. And it's fucking awesome, dude. I love it.
Yes. No, it was fantastic.
You picked an interesting one though.
I did. And I guess I'll get into that one. Um so mine is one that actually out of all of the choices is one that you do hear quite often, but this is Rage Your Dream by Move.
Move.
And even though it's an ED, right? Like this song was a bop. It's very very catchy, very mellow, and it's a really good way to still wind down with the Euro beats, but not necessarily get like super hyped up and ramped up. It's like a nice way to wind down after all the action.
Yeah. And this brings me to like a really interesting thing Initial D did with their EDs. They were just music videos. Like they actually had like the artists in them, like the real people. And it was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like I had probably watched 50, 60 anime shows before I watched this. I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this an 80s music video?
And the craziest part too is like growing up with MTV when they actually played music on the television. Crazy concept, I
I
know.
know, right? Not just Flavor of
Um,
Love.
they
I think that was about VH1.
they used to play a lot of different music videos, and you would see some of them that were like again from the 80s and stuff. And so just seeing that art style, like the camera's lens style and stuff like that, it was like wow, wow, what a callback.
Did you notice they played this in MF Ghost recently?
I did. I did notice.
I got chills.
Yeah, it was so
Absolute
cool.
chills, dude. Yeah, I do love this song. Like it comes on my Spotify randomly because like I've listened to it and I'll just like put on like the DJ mix and it's like now we're gonna throw it back. And I'm like, okay. And it just plays
I
Rage
know
Your
it's
Dream and
time.
I'm like, I love this. Absolutely love this. Yeah, dude, it's such an iconic song. I think for me, Gas 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 is just still the song for me, dude. Like it's one of the most Initial D songs out there just because it fits the vibe so well. And it also helps that it's in my favorite race, right? It's in that Takumi versus KSK race. And
Yes.
it's just so fun. I mean, you see me all the time in our Discord just going gas, gas, gas all the fucking time.
All the time. All the time. Even when we're not recording, he is literally doing that.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. Gas, gas, gas.
It's actually so funny. Like you'll see me go put messages in and about like MF Ghost and just nobody replies to them because nobody besides me and Nam is watching that shit. So we need more car fans in our Discord. I'm gonna plug it. Linktree.com/animeggens. If you like Initial D and MF Ghost, come join the Discord.
Come talk to us.
Yeah.
Tyler
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah, Tyler's too good for this. He's too busy watching 13-year-old girls deal with their problems or something. It does get me. For you romance fans out there, this show does have romance. And it also has gold digging.
All in one.
All in one. Heartbreak, gold diggers, and gas, 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 baby. What else do you need in life?
I don't know.
I really
Sounds
don't
pretty
know,
complete to
dude.
me.
So we've talked about the show. We've talked about a lot of different aspects of it. We've kind of stayed away from the plot because I think more people should check this out if they haven't yet. If you could put one sentence together of why somebody should watch Initial D, what would it be?
For me, I would say it's a thrilling adventure that's surprisingly accurate for its work. It creates a unique tension while watching that gets anyone excited for racing. All while the main character still explores his own needs as a high school student.
Slice of life with race
Slice of
cars.
life indeed.
Yeah, for me, it really comes down to it. Just like this is just such an adrenaline rush watching this, and you're like watching so much growth with the characters there. I mean, it's a humble tofu delivering teen turning into a fucking drifting legend down the literal side of mountain passes. Like if you've watched Tokyo Drift, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just set to like one of the most infectious like soundtracks you'll ever have in a show with all the Eurobeat. Highly recommend it, dude. But I think that's
For
all we got for Initial D. And now me and Nam are going to talk about MF Ghost because now you have to listen to us.
Yeah, you've already made it this far. You got no
Yeah.
choice.
You have to
You're
listen
stuck
to
with
us.
us.
So, like, what have you thought about MF Ghost as like an actual successor to Initial D? What have been your thoughts on that?
It first started off like the first couple episodes, and I was like, man, this is really, really cool. This reminds me so much of Initial D. This is just like this would be awesome if it was connected somehow.
You didn't know?
So that was the thing, is like I did know, because I remember reading about it like 2 years or 3 years prior to actually seeing the first season, and I read about it and I was like, fuck yeah, we're getting an actual successor to it. And then I completely forgot by the time that it actually came out, so I just watched it because again, it looked cool.
Yeah, the
And I
character
was
design
like,
looks basically the same. It's a car anime, and then conveniently you find out in like 3 episodes that the main character is Takami's student. It's just little details.
yeah, just the small things. No, by the third episode I finally figured it out and I knew, obviously. But no, I think it's fantastic though. I think that they're doing a great job, especially with like a couple of the newest episodes that have come out recently.
Oh my god.
In season 3, seeing the gutter run again. Um just really, really kind of solidifies this show as the actual true successor.
100%. I mean, it definitely helps that there's a lot of the same cast there. But it's hilarious seeing like all of Takami's friends like just being old and working at a gas station.
This is the same gas
The
station
same
still.
gas station they worked at in high school. But yeah, I think for me, like, while it is a successor, it really does feel like more of a progression, like Ryosuke created MFG, which is the racing circuit league that is like the core of this show here. And I think it's interesting too because like this takes place like nowadays, and kind of the plot is that like gas cars are dying. Everybody's driving electric cars, like actual gasoline powered cars are just not a thing. And just to throw them at the forefront of TV on actual closed public roads in a circuit race or sprints is super cool. Um, like Nam kind of mentioned, I think the racing honestly is more electrifying in this because we're not just getting 1v1, we're getting 15 cars in like an actual sprinter circuit, and it leads to a lot more overtaking, a lot more excitement, and just like I feel like I'm more invested in these like 6 or 7 episode races than I was like in one race with over like 2 episodes in Initial D.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 6 different people that are going to be interacting with each other and vying for first place, it creates a more unique power dynamic that you really can't portray with a 1v1. Don't get me wrong, like you can build up the tension for a 1v1 like they did with an Initial D, but that still only carries it so far. Whereas I'm expecting now this race to take, a few more episodes before it's over, and I'm perfectly fine with it because
I'm more than okay with it.
especially with right now, there's 4 different people that are in the mix. You also have a group of 3 people that are in the mix, a group of 2 people. So it's like you have all these mini battles going on all over the place, all within the same map. And the dynamic has also changed so much too over the past 3 episodes, 2-3 episodes, that it really it changes just so much how it comes out and how it's portrayed, and they're doing a fantastic job of just keeping that tension, but also keeping it with the fluidity of the times.
Definitely. Yeah, I think like with the last episode, I've absolutely loved the switch that's flipped with Kanata. Like it feels reminiscent of when Takumi like kind of had that switch flip within him as well. Like their characters are very similar. Like Kanata is just this half Japanese, half English dude who's like unassuming, chill dude, just a total sweetheart. Like he's like when you think street race, you think cocky, you know?
Yeah.
But
You think like how a couple of the other characters are like Beckenbauer
yeah, I mean he's German.
or fucking what is it, Mr.
Salvatore.
17 Complex? Yeah.
I was cracking up last episode when he's sitting there talking shit about Akaba. It was just
He's
like
like a real creep will never be the true fetishist.
he's like he just chases women. It's not classy. Never been a true fetish enthusiast. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? This dude has a complex for 17-year-olds because that's the perfect age for women, I guess. And while I think that's really weird, perfectly fine in Japan,
Fucking
according to
weird.
their laws.
So fucking weird.
So fucking weird. But he's such a damn good driver, dude.
He is. Another one that I want to talk about, though, another character, since we're on the cast of racers, is was it Keisuke's pupil or is it Ryusuke's pupil?
Case Gaze, you're talking about his last name is Senna. Moritobi?
I think so. But anyways, the new kind of generation coming out, right? So we have Keisuke's pupil against Takumi's pupil, and it just happened for the first time in this race, right? Like there was a whole other what, 2 races or just 1 race, I think, that
So
happened.
this is the third race, right?
I think so. Anyways, so the Keisuke's pupil didn't take place in the first couple, and now he's actually in here, and so to see the two of them battle it out, and just also how much Keisuke's pupil feeds off of Takumi's pupil, Kanada, it really, really shows just kind of like a mirror image of how it was back in Initial D as well.
Definitely. And like the other thing that's so cool about like Kanata and it's Moriboshi, like their cars even mimic their teachers' cars. Like Takumi drove an AE86 and Kanata's driving a GT86, which is, that's the Toyota GT86 or Subaru BRZ or Scion FRS. They're all the same damn car. I see them out on the street all the time. And he's driving that against Ferraris. And then you have Moriboshi. And well, it's not a Mazda. He's driving a canary yellow Toyota Supra. Very similar car, And it's cool to see
The
that, like,
closest you can get.
yeah, because Mazda doesn't really make a race car anymore, unfortunately.
Sad.
I was going to say that, yeah, the Miata, but
No,
not.
we're not counting the Miata.
I mean, I love Miatas. I'm not going to lie to you, dude.
I did hear a rumor about a potential RX-9.
RX-9.
Electric rotary hybrid.
Ooh, at least it's a hybrid. That's fine. I got to Google this now while I'm thinking about it. Holy
But
shit.
anyways, yeah, no. Bringing
Ooh.
out the Supra, that also was really interesting too, because again, it does represent that power difference in the cars. Like the Supra is by far definitely the more superior in terms of power over the GR86.
Oh yeah. I mean, talk to me. Or sorry, Jesus Christ. Kanata did just get a lot of upgrades though. Got a supercharger or a turbo.
Turbo.
Got a turbo, new suspension, tune. He's cooking with some gas now, and you can definitely see his abilities are actually shining now that he has this new, upgraded car, and it's really cool to see.
And another thing too that's also quite interesting, not quite a parallel, but Takumi really didn't understand cars at all. Meanwhile, Canada has a lot of knowledge. He's actually been very influential when it comes, like when they were talking about doing the upgrades. The mechanic was like, "Yeah, I can do all of this," and Canada was like, "No, no, no, no. Let's just do this and this and then this. I'll be fine with that. Let me see how it goes from there."
Yeah, I
And
mean
the guy
he's a
was like, "That's smart. I like that. Let's do it."
yeah. It also helps that he's a trained racing professional.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, just to also have that kind of knowledge, whereas Takumi was literally fumbling his way around and just figuring it out from talking with his peers. It's quite interesting to see that as well.
Definitely. Um, I guess outside of the car racing, how have you liked kind of like the I don't want to say side story, but like the other parts of MF Ghost compared to like the other parts of Initial D? Any thoughts there?
Um, I like most of the angels.
You like the chunky one?
Not necessarily.
I like her
Um,
character. She's funny.
she's very spunky.
What are you
I
gonna do
do
this
I do
summer?
like
I'm
that.
gonna lose weight.
So
And
I can
everyone's like,
impress
oh, okay,
you.
okay.
she's like, I'm gonna lose weight so I can impress you. He's like, all right, whatever.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
Um, but as well too though, like the whole secrecy that was kind of going around, right? Like between Canada and the girl that he's living with.
Ren?
Like it's not his family, but
Yeah, it's kind of like a host family because he came over from England. Um, I guess kind of just looking for his dad. It's really the whole reason he's in Japan. And then, he figured if he goes in this MFG racing league and wins some races, maybe his dad will come out of the woodwork.
oh hey, that's my son.
That's my son out there.
Um, but yeah, no, the like the budding relationship that they got going on there, and like the secrecy and how she didn't want to tell him that she's one of the MF angels, but like how she's also growing and resolving with that, because she was frustrated with him, and he ended up getting hurt because of her as a result of that. So now she's like, she was kind of feeling bad because of what was happening, and he just kind of pushed through it now. So she's like, I'm gonna tell him after this.
Yeah.
So like that whole situation too is quite interesting as well.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I think like when I've watched this, I mean, I think I've rewatched MF Ghost a few times at this point, but I usually skip the fluff. I haven't liked the fluff here as much as I liked the fluff in Initial D.
It definitely felt a lot better in Initial D, whereas it doesn't feel quite as natural in this.
I think it's natural. I mean, they're high schoolers. Like, we're getting like that Tyler anime just caked in between awesome car racing.
To Tyler anime.
That's accurate description, right?
I would not argue it, I'll say.
It's high school puppy love, and then cars going 250 kilometers per hour. But yeah, I've really liked it. I think it's awesome. I do think you can watch MF Ghost without watching Initial D if
Yes.
you can't get past the animation. I just don't think you're gonna love it as much as I do.
It's not gonna hit quite the same way. You'll still appreciate a lot of the racing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
But like a lot of the cameos that you get to see and stuff like that, and the characters that return, it's a much different experience having seen Initial D and gone through that journey as opposed to just this, you know.
definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow because we get a new episode. I was already telling Nam, I'm like, I'm more excited for MF Ghost than I am Hell's Paradise, JJK, Frieren. I'm like, nah, give me race cars.
We're sorry, chat. We love the rundown, but at the same time, MF Ghost is just such a banger.
Dude, it's hitting
Oh
so hard.
God,
It's scratching the right itches for me, if that makes sense. I'm
there's
probably
just
gonna go.
too many of them.
I'm
Too
probably
many
gonna
of the right ones.
go watch 3 episodes. I'm probably gonna just go watch this whole race so far right now. Honestly.
Yeah, as soon as it finishes, I'm probably gonna do like a supercut of it.
Yes. That's what I was doing when I first watched it. Every time a race ended, I'd go back and watch that whole race, and I'm like, this is fucking peak. Well, awesome. Anything else to add about our beloved car animes?
I don't think that there's really anything else that we can add to it. I mean, well, I guess I will add one other thing too. With the first one with Initial D, it was just all about the racing, right? And like Ryusuke was trying to discover something for his own personal goal. Whereas MFG, they actually are doing it too for a reason. It's not just about highlighting gas cars because they're a dying breed, kind of like manual cars today in the real world. Um, but also a lot of the proceeds actually go towards local areas and areas that have been affected by the eruption of Mount Fuji,
Yeah.
which that was actually a really, really cool thing that they touched up on. So it's not just like this is all about racing and stuff like that. There's actually a benefit to the community for all of this happening, which I thought was actually really, really cool.
Yeah, and like another really cool thing too, kind of going off that, like the community side of it, like MF Ghost is like MFG is like the biggest thing in Japan and even around the world with like this racing circuit league. And it's fun because they show a lot of cuts of like spectators watching at bars, watching in their office, like all over. And it's cool to see how much of an impact like Ryosuke's dream has gone from being street racing to this global impact here, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, super, super touching. Um hopefully we get to see him.
Eventually. I do love the fact that they had Keisuke do all the ghost trials. And they're like, what is that
Yeah.
car? And I'm sitting like, no fucking way. Is that the is that the
Fucking
RX-7 FD?
RX-7.
I'm like, no fucking way.
It was
Yeah.
so cool.
100%. But I think that's all we got for you guys today. Appreciate you listening along. Check out the shows. If you love me and Nam, join the Discord. Come talk to us about them. I'm always down to talk either of these shows. And we'll catch you guys next week with the rundown. I think probably. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
it should be after
It
this.
should be a rundown. Yeah. Me and Nam just said, "Fuck it, we're recording an episode because Tyler's not here."
We're still getting used to the schedule too, guys, so bear with us.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.
Later.